Now I'm going to talk about Saturn Return, which always marked an important turning point in our life. That represents the soul milestone of maturity and self-authority. The Saturn return is one of the most significant transits in astrology. It marks the moment Saturn returns to the exact zodiac degree and sign he occupied at the time of your birth, a full cycle of around 30 years. This is not simply an event, but an important initiation, an astrological mirror reflecting where you have grown and where you have avoided growth. Think of that as a cosmic checkpoint. You have walked the first arc of your life, what you have built, and are you ready for what next with integrity? There are typically 2 to 3 Saturn returns in a lifetime. Each one has a different spiritual focus, but all require truth, responsibility, and alignment. So the first Saturn return around the age of 28 to 30. The theme is about adulthood of the soul, becoming who you were always meant to be. By your late 20s, you have likely lived many roles: the child your parents needed, the student society rewarded, or the lover, the achiever, the wanderer, or the dreamer. But Saturn doesn't care about your title, he cares about your truth. And during your first Saturn return, he begins removing everything that isn't aligned with your soul's real path. This can be manifest as career shift, leaving unfulfilling jobs, or realizing your chosen path lacks meaning. Sometimes you lose work, sometimes you walk away, because the voice of your soul becomes louder than the voice of fear. Or a relationship breakdown. You may end long-term partnership that was built on comfort, not truth. Or you may realize you are ready to truly commit, not out of fantasy, but from grounded love. Saturn demands mature love. Or financial reality checks. Money becomes a mirror, not of success, but of sustainability. You begin making choices that secure your long-term well-being, not about short-term pleasure. Debt, savings, and boundaries with resources always rise to the surface. And inner identity crisis. You may feel lost, restless, or empty. The roles you have played no longer fit, but the new self hasn't fully formed yet. This is the second cocoon, where discomfort becomes the raw material for evolution. We can look at it. The first Saturn return isn't meant to break you. It means to strip away what no longer serves. It teaches you that freedom without responsibility is hollow, and responsibility without authenticity is a cage. This is where your soul begins to take command of the incarnation. And the second Saturn return is around age 58 to 60. The main theme is the harvest and liberation, leaving only what matters. If the first Saturn return is about becoming an adult, the second is about becoming ageless. You are no longer defined by ambition, but by essence. This return marks the transition from outer responsibility to inner liberation. It is time to ask, what legacy am I leaving? What still matters? And what must be let go, even if it was once meaningful? Have I honored my time? And how do I want to live the rest of it? You may experience something like retirement or redirection, not necessarily quitting job, but quitting what feels dead. You may feel shift from career to calling, or from outer projection to inner creation. Many begin spiritual service, creative mentorship, or healing work. And the shedding of old identities. You may let go of parent as role, provider, or professional image. If you have been living for others, Saturn now demands, live it for yourself, not as ego, but in authenticity. It is a body and time awareness. Aging becomes real. Health limitations may arise, but they are not just punishment. They are signals of wisdom, calling you back into alignment with your body, your breath, and your space. Saturn teaches reverence for the physical vessel. And of course, there is relationship reconsidering. If you are in a marriage or long-term partnership, this time redefine what that relationship really is. It is still true. If you are single, it may be a time of deep peace or a chance to experience mature love without fantasy. So, this second return is not about status, it is about essence. Saturn now is asking, can you live the rest of your life without pretending? What you have repressed will rise, but so will your freedom. This is where you begin to mentor others, not by teaching, but by being. And the third Saturn return, around the age of 87 to 90. The main theme is the elders crying, the final integration. Not everyone reached the third Saturn return, but for those who do, and I certainly wish I do, it is a sacred crossing point. The body is preparing to let go. The spirit is preparing to return. And the wisdom is ready to be passed on. At this stage, Saturn offers clarity without complication. You are no longer here to prove anything. You are here to complete the cycle. This phase often brings storytelling. Elderhood becomes a mirror. Your stories, your regrets, your joys, they become your final gift to the younger generations. The simplicity, a shedding of noise, rituals, nature, presence become your temple. And what about peace? If you have walked with Saturn, he will now walk beside you, and not as a weight, but as a companion. At this stage, it is not an ending, but a completion. Saturn now asks, do you live truthfully? Are you ready to return, whole, wise, and sovereign? As reflection, if we think of Saturn, his gift is not about comfort. It is authority rooted in our soul. Saturn is not your enemy. He is your sacred builder. He doesn't care how quickly you rise. He cares how deeply you root. He doesn't care what you achieve. He cares what you become in the process. And he is stripping away the illusions of success, the pretenses of identity, or the addictions to validation or shortcut that undermine your destiny. In return, He gives you something so endurance. He gives you self-respect, soul sovereignty, and a life built on what truly matters. So what Saturn is asking actually? He is asking us to slow down, to listen deeply and honor reality, to carry your karmic work with humility, not victimhood, to face what is difficult, not to suffer, but to grow strength, and commit to your path, not to be perfect, but to be present. When you stop avoiding Saturn, you stop avoiding your power. And when you walk with Saturn, your life becomes something that can weather any storm because it was built with time, love, truth, and soul. So if you feel Saturn stirring something in your life, through challenge, pressure, or awakening, it is not a punishment. It is a call to align. Book a one-to-one astrology session with me to explore your personal Saturn placement, your karmic blueprint, and how to walk with clarity on your soul path. You will find the booking link in the description or visit my website at genevievechong.com. And if this episode resonates, please share it, save it, and revisit it when Saturn speaks again.